It's a chance for the RedHawks to continue to make history tonight in the MAC semifinals against the Kent State Golden Flashes. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Red Hawk Radio pregame report. I am Bryan Miller. I'll be bringing you your pregame, halftime, and postgame coverage here on Red Hawk Radio. The MAC semifinals for the Miami RedHawks. They will be taking on the Kent State Golden Flashes. The winner of tonight's game will be taking on the Akron Zips. Have had a dominant season so far, especially in MAC play, only losing one conference game to Ohio. They are able to make the MAC championship in back-to-back years, and for the third time in the last four seasons. It was a game that had 51 fouls in it, a very high-scoring affair between the Zips and the Rockets. Seven players had four fouls in that one, and one player, Sam Lewis, for the Rockets, fouled out in that game. So Akron will make it to the MAC championship game, and who they will play will still be determined later on tonight, either Miami or Kent State. Miami has won three straight in this battle and is 2-0 against the Golden Flashes this season. First game coming January 12th at Kent State. That was a game Miami won 70 to 61, and the second game this season here in Oxford was a much different kind of game. That was a very high scoring affair. Probably one of, if not the most thrilling games of the season for Miami. A 96 to 92 victory in overtime. That was a game where Miami was down 81 to 75 with just about 2 minutes left to go in the second half. Things were not looking good for the RedHawks, but after a layup from Luke Scaljak and a free throw from Kent State made it a little bit of an easier time for Miami. Pete Suter had five straight points for the RedHawks after a banked three and a couple free throws. That tied the game up at 82. Or Kent State had a chance to win the game at the end of regulation, but a block from Ian Elmer off a mid-range shot from Sion Medley sent that game into overtime, and from there it's back and forth again in the extra period. But it was Ian Elmer again able to step in. He hit a three from the near side wing off a cross-court pass from Evan Ipsaro. That gave Miami a 94 to 92 lead, and a couple free throws from Makai Cooper after that sealed the game for the RedHawks and gave Miami a 96 to 92 win. As I mentioned, probably the most thrilling game of the season for the RedHawks. For Miami, they are coming into tonight's game 24 and 8, 14 and 4 record in MAC play coming into the tournament. They're projected to finish sixth in the preseason coaches poll, but ended up finishing second. A really good and rewarding season for Miami. Those 24 wins so far, the most in a season since the 1998-1999 season, and the 14 MAC wins in regular season play, the most since 2005-2006. This season, Miami's led by their offense. On the Ken Palm ratings, they rank 160 there, but much higher scoring than you would think considering that rating. This is the most points scored in a season in program history, and nationally, Miami ranks right at the top with some of the top programs in college basketball. They're fifth nationally in three-point percentage, just under 40%, eighth in effective field goal percentage, 15th in threes per game, 21st in field goal percentage, 30th in turnovers forced, 31st in scoring offense, and 47th in turnover margin, about 2.4. So Miami doing a good job of taking care of the basketball as well as getting the ball on the defensive end. And going into that point, Miami first in the MAC in steals per game, coming in about 8.4 in that stat. In yesterday's game in quarterfinal action to start off the MAC tournament, Miami winning over Eastern Michigan 81 to 75 victory for the RedHawks. It was a slow first half for Miami, halftime coming into a 29 to 29 tie, but Miami really able to pick it up after that. Shot 53.57 from the field and 50% from three, and they were able to take a 81-75 victory in the quarterfinal round over Eastern Michigan and make it to the semifinal round, something that has not been done in quite a while for this Miami program. It was a back and forth game, almost the entire affair between the RedHawks and the Eagles. Game featured 12 ties and lead changes, but a 15-2 RedHawk run in the final 3 minutes led to that Miami victory. And one way they've been able to do it is by capitalizing on an opportunity and doing something they haven't been able to do particularly well all season long, and that is out rebounding the other team. Redhawks able to out rebound the Eagles 45-32 in that game yesterday. And Miami all season long has been able to provide depth and get points from a lot of different players. Miami able to get 35 points from its bench yesterday. Eastern Michigan only having 8. A few key players for the Red Hawks yesterday. Red Hawks, led by Cam Kraft, had 24 points, 9 for 13 from the field, 6 for 10 on 3-point attempts. Also able to have 8 rebounds and 2 assists in the win yesterday against Eastern Michigan. And Pete Suter, mentioned him earlier, has been one of the best scorers this season for Miami. Was not able to do that particularly well. Only had 7 points, 1 for 10 from the field, 0 for 3 on 3-point attempts, but was 5 for 8 on free throws in yesterday's game. Also had 10 rebounds and 10 assists, so 3 points away from the second triple double in the history of the Miami basketball program. And honestly, I gotta say, you don't often see someone nearly get a triple double after going 1 for 10 from the field. And I mean, Suter wasn't able to do it yesterday, but man, did he come really close. And despite having a poor shooting performance last night, still able to make a huge impact on yesterday's game with his rebounding and passing ability. Someone else that stepped up big for the Redhawks yesterday was Reese Potter. After some foul trouble for Antoine Woolfolk, Potter had to step in, and boy, did he get it done. 15 points, 6 for 11 from the field, 1 for 2 on 3-point attempts, 2 for 3 from the line, also providing 8 rebounds, assists, and 2 blocks. Just a big time effort there for Reese Potter stepping in after Woolfolk got in some foul trouble and about the middle to beginning part of the second half in yesterday's game. That is how Miami got there. For Kent State, they were able to get to the semifinal round after a 73-66 win against the Western Michigan Broncos yesterday. That was a game in which 4 Golden Flashes scored double-digit points. Marquise Barnett with 18, Jalen Solinger with 13, Sion Medley also with 13, and Delrico Gillespie with 10 points, also had 10 boards. That was his fourth double-double on the season. That leads Kent State in that category. Flashes led by head coach Rob Senderhoff in his 14th season as the Kent State head coach and has been with Kent State since the 2008 season. He was an associate head coach for 3 years before he got promoted to the head coaching position. Before that, he was an assistant at Indiana from 2006 to 2008. This season, Kent State 22-10 on the year, 11-7 in MAC play, and living up pretty much to expectations. They were projected to finish third in the MAC in the preseason poll, and that is where they ended up finishing. How are they getting it done? Well, as we've seen from the past few seasons with the Golden Flashes, they're getting it done with their defense. Only giving up 68.3 points per game. That's the fewest in the MAC, and they're about a consistent program as it gets in this conference, making their fourth straight appearance in the MAC semifinals, looking to make it to the NCAA tournament for the second time in 3 years. Made it a couple seasons ago where they had a close loss to Indiana in the first round. A few more stats on Kent State allowing opponents to shoot 42% from the field. That is the lowest amount in the MAC. They're able to get 36.7 rebounds a game, third in the MAC, and they only allow just under 32 rebounds a game. That is best in the conference. They have the best rebounding margin as well, about 5 a game. As I mentioned earlier, that's something that Miami struggles with sometimes is rebounding the basketball, going up against a pretty good Kent State team in that department will be a key challenge for Miami today. Definitely have to hold their own in the paint as well as defend without fouling, as we saw yesterday with Wolfgang in foul trouble. Reese Potter might have to provide some big time minutes today in order for the RedHawks to get the W today. Take a quick break, and then on the other side, bring you some storylines and players to watch, as well as keys to the game and final thoughts and maybe even predictions before the semifinals start today between the RedHawks and the Golden Flashes. All that and more coming up next. You're listening to Miami Basketball on Red Hawk Radio. Welcome back to the Red Hawk Radio pregame show. I'm your host, Brian Miller. We'll be bringing you your pregame, halftime, and postgame coverage here as the Red Hawks and Golden Flashes tingle up for the third time this season. No matchup more important than this one. It is the semifinals of the MAC tournament. Winner will be taking on the Akron Zips tomorrow night around 7:40. Tip-off time tonight projected to be around 7:55, so around 10 minutes. We'll send it to Luke and Kethan live from Cleveland to bring you the semifinal action. Few storylines for each team going into tonight's game for the RedHawks. This has been a season all about breaking barriers, taking the next step, competing with, and even beating, sometimes even dominating the big four teams that have dominated the MAC in recent seasons, and those teams include Kent State, who will be playing tonight, as well as Ohio, Toledo, and Akron. Miami is 4-2 against those teams, including a sweep over Kent State, a split against OU, a dominating win against Toledo at home, and also a loss at Akron earlier this season. They were pretty much outclassed in that game, but Miami looking to get their revenge on the Zips tomorrow night, but it has to start with a win against the Golden Flashes of Kent State tonight. If they're able to win tonight's semifinal game, they would make the MAC championship game in their first appearance in that game since 2007, where they also won it in their last appearance in the NCAA tournament. For Kent State, it's kind of the opposite of Miami. They are looking to stay consistent and make it back to the MAC championship game. This is their fourth straight appearance in the semifinal round, and with a win today, they would be their fourth straight appearance in the MAC championship game. They lost to Akron last year and in the 2022 season, but Golden Flash is able to beat Toledo in the championship game in 2023, and as I mentioned earlier, able to make the NCAA tournament where they suffered a close defeat to the Indiana Hoosiers. Kent State, if they make it to March Madness, looking to win their first game since 2002 when they made the Elite Eight under now Eastern Michigan head coach Stan Heath. Some players to watch in tonight's game, starting with the Flashes of Kent State. Gotta start with Vaughn Cameron Davis, was expected to be the star of this team, named a preseason All-MAC first team, and that is where he ended up in the postseason edition of the All-MAC team, as revealed earlier this week. Last game, a little bit of a quiet effort for Davis. Only 3 points, 0 for 5 from the field. All 3 points coming from the free throw line. Had 4 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 steal. Only able to play 15 minutes in that game because of foul trouble early on. But this season, Davis has been an absolute force, averaging just under 15 points, 3.7 rebounds, and 2 assists, shooting 43% on field goal attempts, 36% from the 3 point line, and 73% from the free throw line. Him and Jalen Sullinger are the two highest scorers on this Golden Flash team. Sullinger named to preseason All-MAC second team, and that's where he ended up this week as well. Sullinger with 13 points in yesterday's win against Western Michigan, 6 for 13 from the field, 1 for 5 on 3 point attempts. Also had a rebound and assist in that victory as well. Solinger averaging 15 points this season. That leads the Golden Flash team, just under 2 rebounds and 2 assists as well, shooting 42% from the field, 36% from three, and 88% from the free throw line. Get into that a little bit later. Both these teams have struggled recently from the free throw line. Solinger be has to be one of the things you circle on him from the scouting report. Do not want to foul him in a late game situation. We have to think Kent State would try to get the ball to him in that sort of scenario. If that name sounds familiar, it probably should, especially for college basketball fans in Ohio. His uncle, Jared Sullinger, a star for Ohio State, made the first team All-American team a couple times in his career with the Buckeyes. Also had a solid NBA career playing for the Boston Celtics. Last player to watch for Kent State, Claron Hornbeak, named to the MAC All-Defensive Team. In yesterday's win against Western Michigan, had 8 points, 4 for 5 from the field, 5 rebounds, and 1 block. On the season, averaging just under 8 points and just over 6 rebounds. So yesterday's effort, pretty much what you would expect for him all season long. On the season, he's shooting 63% from the field and 72% from the line. He's only attempted one 3-pointer this season. He is third in the MAC in blocks, got 42 of them all season long. Hornbeak provides a really, really good defensive presence in the post for the Golden Flashes, something that Miami is well aware of already. So you have to expect Woolfolk and Potter to hold their own down there. Will be a pretty critical part in Miami earning a victory today. For the RedHawks, some players to watch, starting with Peter Suter. I mentioned him earlier, but he was named to the All-MAC first team, first RedHawk to make it to the first team since 2012. Was pretty quiet in the scoring department yesterday. As I mentioned, only had 7 points, but one thing about Suter, man, he will always make an impact on the game, even if it isn't scoring the basketball. Had 10 rebounds and assists. Very, very nearly got the second triple-double in Miami program history. The only other one was the legend himself, Ron Harper, in 1986 against Ball State. But you'd have to think for the Redhawks tonight, Suter will have to make more of an impact, especially with his driving ability. He's really good at driving inside and either dishing it out or going it up to get the tough buckets. Didn't see a ton of that yesterday for Suter. Those shots weren't quite falling down often, but if he's able to do it again tonight against Kent State, that would be huge for Miami. And last time these teams played, Suter had five consecutive points last minute of regulation here in Oxford, helped bring that game into overtime where Miami was eventually able to win. Cam Kraft, also someone to look out for the Redhawks. He was named to All MAC third team and really showed out yesterday against Eastern Michigan. It was a little bit of a cold start, but was able to really pick it up. He had 24 points in yesterday's win against Eastern Michigan, but against Kent State so far, only 8 points combined in the two games against the Golden Flashes. Big time player, the highest rated recruit in modern history of Miami basketball, a transfer from Xavier following his head coach Travis Steele. This is why you get him for games like this. He's a big time player. He's got to make some big time plays in big time situations today against the Golden Flashes. Will play a very critical factor in Miami's performance today. And last player I wanted to highlight is Brant Byers, named the MAC Freshman of the Year this week. Had just 3 points last game, but has really turned into Miami's one of Miami's best shooters, especially from the 3-point line. Had 15 points in the first meeting at Kent and 12 points in the second meeting here in Millette. I mean, for Byers, he really highlights a team that really focuses on their depth. They can go 8, 9 deep pretty much every game and expects major contributions from each of those players. That will play another critical factor in tonight's game and if Miami is able to keep their season alive. Which brings us to our keys of the game. And all of these go for both teams today, really. First one is just staying composed. Each of the two meetings earlier this season were pretty chippy and physical. Fouls called in the last game we saw against Toledo and Akron. But first meeting at Kent, 37 combined fouls and a technical on Ian Elmer and Jalen Sullinger. In the last game at Miami, 43 combined fouls. And as I mentioned earlier as well, another key to tonight's game, taking the points. They're called free throws for a reason. Will be a pretty critical deal, especially in postseason play. Always something that is critical, especially from Miami's top free throw scorers. Evan Epsaro just 8 for 12 yesterday, and Pete Suter 5 for 8. And someone to see for the Kent State side, Jalen Sullinger, 88% on free throw attempts, second in the MAC. Last key for tonight's game is winning the turnover battle. These two teams are the top two in the MAC in turnover margin, really thrive on getting the ball from turnovers, but Miami lost the turnover battle yesterday, gave the ball up 14 times and only got 9 turnovers. It was better as the game went on, but that will be a pretty critical deal as to whether or not Miami is able to advance to the final tomorrow. That'll probably be the biggest factor in the game inside the game tonight. Well, that should wrap things up here on the Red Hawk Radio pregame show. I'm Brian Miller. I've been your host today. I will see you again at halftime live from Oxford. I'll also bring you the postgame report. We'll see if Miami's able to make the MAC championship for the first time since 2007. Take a quick break, and then up next, we'll send you off to Luke and Kethan live from Cleveland. Fellas, take it away.
It's been 15 years since the Miami RedHawks were last in the Mid-American Conference semifinals, but the RedHawks were not quite done with this historic season after a slugfest to start the game yesterday. Miami finally able to pull away from the Eastern Michigan Eagles in the final 8 minutes as the RedHawks took down EMU 81-75 last night in quarterfinal action. And the RedHawks have earned the right to play today with a chance to punch their ticket to their first championship game since 2007. Alongside Kethan, Babu, Luke West, Poley with you. And Kethan, for this Miami team yesterday, things did not go well at all for the first half hour of that game against an Eastern Michigan team that had really struggled to defend. It was low scoring. The Red Hawk offense, which is one of the best in the MAC, seemed really out of rhythm. Good news is for Miami, before things got really scary in the final minutes of that game, they were able to open up a double-digit lead. And over the final couple wars, as Travis Steele calls them, between the media timeouts, Miami was able to win them pretty handedly.
That's right. That last 10 minutes, we're looking at two completely different teams, right? Because that first, like you said, the first half, neither team could really hold a more than two-score advantage. Even the first 10 minutes, they kept it even. There was that 6-minute stretch, though, in the final 10 minutes where Miami really ran away with it. They held a 10-point lead at one point, and the only question I had is where was that the rest of the minutes, right? Why did they kick it into high gear in the final minutes? You love to see it, of course, but I don't think they can do the same against this Kent State team. Kent State, if you saw that Millette game, 3 weeks ago, that's probably the best game I've seen at Millette, and realistically, that game got sent to overtime when Miami should have handled them pretty handedly.
Yeah, no doubt. This Kent State team, they are an analytics darling. Ken Pom says they're the second best team in the Mid-American Conference. Seeding says they are the third. Rob Senderoff, who coached with Travis Steele at Indiana from 2006 to 2008, is looking to get back to the MAC title game and potentially avenge what was a sour finish against the Akron Zips last year. Akron took care of Toledo, scoring 100 points on their way to a win just about a half hour ago, and they will meet the winner of this game tomorrow night. Starting lineups for Miami, same five as normal for Travis Steele. Ian Elmer, Cam Kraft, Peter Suter, Makai Cooper, and Antoine Woolfolk are the five. For Kent State, Rob Senderoff has toyed with his starting lineup throughout the year. He settles tonight on a five of Von Cameron Davis, Sion Medley, Jalen Sullinger, Mike Bekelcha, and Del Rocco Gillespie. For this Kent State team, which has won each of their last two games, including a 76-70 win against Western Michigan yesterday, in which they led by nearly 20 at halftime. However, the Broncos clawed their way back, made it interesting late before Kent State held on. Golden Flashes are in the gold uniforms. Plenty of powder blue and gold in the stands. They'll go right to left. Miami is in the whites. They go left to right. Tip-off is won by Kent State, and off we go here from Rocket Arena in Cleveland. Middle of the road, Kent State offense, 7th in the MAC in terms of scoring and shouldering inside. A turnaround look at the bucket for Von Cameron Davis, and the Columbus native can't hit it as he put it off the heel. RedHawks to the offensive end for the first time, averaging 81.1 points per game. That is 30th nationally. Cam Kraft, who led the RedHawks in scoring in the quarterfinal, flips it out near midcourt. Makai Cooper lost it, and then a dive on the floor to scoop that up from Mike Bekelcha, who started his career at Duquesne for this Golden Flashes team, and he'll force the turnover. Last time the Golden Flashes won the MAC title, they were led by another former Duquesne Duke and Sincere Carey a couple seasons ago. Jump pass into the paint for Von Cameron Davis. He sees that batted away. RedHawks running the floor. Kraft, a left wing transition three, off for an iron, and Von Cameron Davis rises up for the rebound for KSU. Minute 10 into this first half. Miami took both meetings in the regular season. Kent State looking to avenge that and go back to the MAC title game for the third straight year. Bounced into the post. On the near side of the floor, it's Von Cameron Davis. He averages 14.7 a game, shouldering in on Ian Elmer. 5 on the timer from the near block. Slings it out near midcourt. Bekelcha settles down to it to the near corner. Medley at the buzzer of the shot clock. Can't hit the corner three. He airballs it long, and it's a shot clock violation on the Golden Flashes. 94 seconds into this one.
I wonder if we're going to see a similar game today of more rebounds and points, especially in the first half here.
Yeah, no doubt that game yesterday, it was a slog to score for Miami as they only put up 29 in the first half, which would have been on pace for their second lowest output of the year. Really picked things up, though, in half number 2 to score over 80. Antoine Woolfolk drives down the left lane, kick to the near corner. Ian Elmer's three pops in and out, and the rebound falls to Del Rocco Gillespie for Kent State. From the far arc to near, it's wrapped around and kicked to the near wing where a three is drilled by Jalen Sullinger. Max sixth man of the year a few years ago, and he has been the guy for Kent State this year, averaging 15 a game, opens the scoring in this one with just under 18 to go. Elmer tries to answer with a right wing three. He cannot, but Pete Suter grabs the offensive rebound. He was a beast on the glass yesterday with 10 boards. Back up top, Kraft a straightaway three. That goes halfway down, and Sion Medley has the board out near the three-point line for Kent State. He'll run it all the way the length of the floor, and on the baseline, he was trying to climb up, and he stepped out of bounds as he was trying to walk from far to near side. Kent State will turn it over.
You don't want to get Jalen Sullinger started early. Like you mentioned, he's Kent State's best scorer. He's one of the best scorers in the MAC. You don't want to see him get started early with that three-pointer like that.
So for the RedHawks, back into the front court, it's Cam Kraft on the far side. Yesterday, 24 and 8 for the Xavier transfer. Makai Cooper between the circles, being hounded by Sullinger, bounces it high post on the right side for Woolfolk. Jab steps once and twice, kicks to the corner for Kraft. He had to regather as the pass is behind him. Now he'll grab it, finds Woolfolk, shot fake, fade away from 10. He's got it. Antoine Woolfolk with a crafty finish. Yesterday just 4 points, but 6 boards for the Rutgers transfer, and it's 3-2 Kent State as we approach the 4-minute mark, 16:42 remaining in the first half. Bounced into the high post. Here's Von Cameron Davis. A frustrating night for him yesterday. Just 3 points. He'll pull from the elbow, and it's too strong as that shot in traffic won't fall. Pete Suter up the floor, had it knocked away by Davis. Elmer got the loose ball, but then he lost it, and Mike Bukelcha ends up with it for Kent State. Up ahead, Sullinger runs into Suter, and a blocking foul is called. And Travis Steele has a very different idea of how that last sequence unfolded as he is explaining to the referee in front of him, as he will bring up Reese Potter to sub on for Miami with 16:22 to go in the first half. Steele is pointing to those 2 loose balls that Miami had in the front court, I believe, protesting that there should have been a reach-in foul on both. For now, though, it's Kent State from up top. It's put into the post by by Medley, and the RedHawks knock that one away. Suter runs it up to the top of the three-point line and drains it from there, and Miami's got their first lead. 3 for Pete. It's 5-3 RedHawks with 16:04 to go in the first half. Suter yesterday was just 3 points off a triple-double. Struggled to shoot the free throws, had just 7 points, but 10 rebounds and 10 assists. Sullinger makes his way to the right wing, and he drills a 3 from there. Can't leave Jalen Sullinger alone, a volume three-point shooter with nearly 200 attempts on the regular season. He knocks that one down to give Kent State the lead once again. 6'5" Golden Flashes. Potter holding straight away. Big man three. Falls a little short, and it's Bukelcha who grabs the rebound for the Golden Flashes. Up ahead, the St. Louis transfer, Sion Medley. Bounces it high post for Davis, working off the dribble, drives in on Elmer, and draws the foul as he tripped and took a spill on the left block, and that will send us to a timeout on the floor. It's been a war to score here inside Rocket Arena. Very different than the first semifinal, which featured 190 points. 15:24 to go. First half here from Cleveland. Kent State leads Miami 6-5. We'll be back after this. You're listening to the Mid-American Conference Tournament semifinal and Miami basketball on Red Hawk Radio. 15:24 remains here in the first half at Rocket Arena. Luke Poley and Kethan Babu with you. I think in the 30-minute period between the two semifinals, they might have installed new rims that are a little bit smaller. Akron beat Toledo 100-90. That is a regulation score in the first game of the semifinal session. Kent State currently in front of Miami 6-5. Both teams, though, have not shot the ball particularly well. Miami 2 for 7 from the floor. Inbound for the Golden Flashes to the near corner, and a three is perfect for Jalen Sullinger, who's got all 9 Golden Flash points in the early goings. 4:45 gone by, first half, 9-5. Kent State looking to get back to another MAC title game. Suter inside finds a wide open Potter, who will turn it around and in. From 2 feet out, Reese Potter has his first points. The Miami Big, who had 15 in a monster effort off the bench yesterday, is on the board here tonight. Sion Medley heads around to the far side, found Sullinger in the corner, airs out a three from that spot and won't hit it. RedHawks blaze up the floor, and a left wing three from Byers doesn't go down. Rebound tapped up in the air, finds Sullinger for Kent State, who will put it ahead for Marquise Bennett. Bennett backing in on Byers, just outside the paint on the far side. Now he'll tuck his way into the paint, lay it up and in, plus the foul. And Barnett, will go to the free throw line. So the Presbyterian transfer, Marquise Barnett, out of Saginaw, Michigan, played his high school ball in Ohio at Brunswick. He will go to the free throw line following a huge game yesterday. 18 points and 5 rebounds in the nightcap win over Western Michigan. Miami had a couple extra hours rest playing game 3 last night. Kent State played the final game of the evening. Marquise Bennett puts up the and one free throw, and it rattles out. It'll be tipped out of bounds by Kent State as Von Cameron Davis got his left arm up there and touched it. You can see the sleeve on his arm, which was a dead giveaway that it was him who put it out of bounds. 11-7 Golden Flashes, 14:20 to go first half. Reese Potter from the top of the key, finds a cutting Byers under the hoop. He goes up and under but can't finish it. Oh, he had a golden chance to maybe dunk the ball. Instead, he just kind of scraped it over the rim and ended up pushing it wide left. Sullinger, meanwhile, takes a tour of the front court, and to the wing, he will dish it off for Barnett, who misfires on a three. Rebound tipped in the air for Miami and secured by Evan Ipsaro. Ipsaro across the timeline for Potter. He hands Suter on the left wing. 10 gone on the shot clock, 6:10 gone on the game clock in the first half. Kent State leads it by 4. Suter far side, lifts up a three, and buries it. Pete Suter really struggled from the field yesterday. He had, at one point, just one make. He was 1 for 10. And Pete already with a couple field goals in this one as it's 11-10, and an offensive foul committed by Kent State as they bring the ball up the floor.
Pete Suter, Travis Steele yesterday talked about how his injury against Ball State may have hindered him last night. He looks like a whole new player. He's already got 6 points. Last night he had 7.
Yeah, Travis Steele said in the press conference after the game yesterday, we feel like if we can move on, we'll be in a good position with Suter because he had that injury, as you mentioned, and that kind of took him out of rhythm in terms of his shooting yesterday. He made up for it with other factors, of course, with a double-double in rebounds and assists. But they feel like they'll get him in rhythm the more they keep playing. Luke Skaljak on the drive, throws his hip into his defender, and that's an offensive foul as Barnett will draw it. And he's got some words for the freshman Luke Skaljak as he heads back down the floor. Those two continue to jaw at each other all the way back up the floor as both teams commit an offensive foul, and Miami gives it away for the 3rd time. Rebounds even at 6 so far. Kent State with 5 turnovers compared to Miami's 3. Suter did finish 1 for 10 from the field yesterday, so called a comeback for Pete here, shooting the ball better already tonight. Nearly 7 minutes in, Kent State by 1. Sullinger drives, jump stop in the lane, tosses up a fadeaway and hits it from the free throw line. Jalen Sullinger already with 11 points for Kent State. They've got 13 as a squad, and they lead it by 3. Byers, meanwhile, he will jump stop into the lane. Almost got tied up. Instead got a shot away, but it did not fall for him. and Kent State's got the rebound. Sullinger between the legs, back and forth. One arms it to Barnett, near wing three, off the mark. Rebound batted into the hands of Ian Elmer. He takes a second to make sure he's got it before dishing off for Evan Ipsaro. Ipsaro pushes across to the far side, and it's Byers in the corner who rattles down a three. Tie game at 13. Brant Byers, the MAC freshman of the year, has got us even with his first basket. Give Elmer the assist. 12:10 to go in the first half, and all square. Up into the high post it goes, and now the ball swung to the far side. It is Barnett who will rise up through the traffic and knock it off the window and in. Marquise Barnett, who was top 10 last year in scoring in the Big South, has the other 4 points for Kent State, not scored by Jalen Sullinger. And now Brant Byers goes up high on the cut. He got net at the summit there, but a foul is whistled, and the large contingent of Kent State fans that have made the short journey to downtown here at Rocket Arena did not like the call, but it will send Brant Byers to the free throw line upon our return. 11:47 to go in the first half. It is Kent State 15 and Miami 13 from Cleveland. You're listening to the Mid-American Conference Semifinals. Miami basketball on Red Hawk Radio. (15-13) our score, with Kent State leading Miami about midway through the first half. 11:47 to go in it. Both these offenses starting to pull their weight. Kent State 50% from the field for Miami. Still not shooting it great, just 38.5%. But RedHawks will make their first trip to the foul line with a chance to tie it. It's the MAC freshman of the year, Brant Byers, there, and he is pure on the first free throw. For Byers yesterday, just 3 points, and he has already surpassed that with 4 in the game. A triple and a free throw. Second one on the way. Count that one as well. Tied up at 15 now here from Rocket Arena. Pretty good traveling group of Miami fans, considering they've had to make the furthest journey of anybody here. A lot of red and white that have made the 4-hour trip up to Northeast Ohio and back for day 2. RedHawks here for the first time since 2010. Von Cameron Davis bullies into the paint. He went crashing down to the court as he got rid of the ball. And I believe they will call a foul on that and not Gillespie, who was waiting on the far block to catch that pass. Davis is hobbling a little bit, kind of favoring his right side of his ribs, it appears. But he's labored back up to his feet and will continue play as the Golden Flashes inbound it with a rainbow back out beyond the arc. Barnett to the near wing Medley. Shot fake. Works his way to the edge of the paint. Stop and go. Kraft tarping him the whole time. Kick out. And a three from the left wing would not go from Barnett. And the RedHawks have the rebound, and it is Pete Suter on the far side. Post-entry pass, Antoine Woolfolk outside the paint, backing in on Gillespie. Back outside, Elmer, left wing three. Off the rim twice, no good. Offensive board for Woolfolk, finding Suter on the back door to place it in the basket and give Miami the lead. And Suter's already got 8, more than he had yesterday in his near triple-double effort. 10:51 remaining first half. Miami in front of Kent State, 17-15. This game has stayed within 2 possessions throughout, much like most of the game yesterday. On Cameron Davis between the legs on the dribble. Overhead feed to the far side and up the baseline. Sumlin will hang up in the air and 180 to put it in. Crafty finish there from Sumlin, who was falling away from the basket. Tied up again at 17 apiece. Kraft edge of the logo across to the far side for Ian Elmer, and now it is Pete Suter off the handoff. Threads through the double team. Suter gets through 4 Golden Flashes but loses the basketball. Woolfolk gets to it in the paint to kick out for Elmer, and he knocks down the corner tray. Broken play there for the RedHawks, and it works out in their favor. Miami already with 11 tries from deep in the game, and they've made 4 of them. 20-17, RedHawks just past the midway mark of the first. To the far side, it is a rise up and a miss of a 3 there by Jamal Sumlin, the Cleveland native. And the RedHawks come down with the rebound. Makai Cooper, Telmer on the near side, back for Cooper between the circles. He will lift it for Woolfolk at the elbow. Fakes a pass inside for Elmer, who was cutting across the baseline. Now he'll hand it to him on the far wing. 8 to shoot. Elmer being swatted at by Gillespie. Puts it up top for Makai Cooper. His three-pointer from straight away swirls the iron with a defender in his face. And Kent State ends up with the board as Medley takes it up ahead for the Golden Flashes. Medley dribbling it left and right. Dishes it off for Von Cameron Davis. Shot fake, spins down the left alley, had it stripped away. Scooped off the deck by Sumlin. Shouldering it on Suter, who won't let him in the paint, so he'll spin and fade away from just outside and scrape it off the front of the rim. Antoine Woolfolk's got the board for Miami, and he'll hand for Suter, who brings it up the floor. Suter to the far corner. Elmer unloads a 3 and can't connect on it. Marquise Barnett navigates through some traffic to grab the loose ball rebound, and he'll take it all the way to the far corner where he picks up his dribble. He'll leave it back up top for Sion Medley, 2-time New Jersey State champ. It's been a rebounding machine for this Kent State team. Medley down the right side finds his man in Barnett, who will catch and finish in one motion. And Barnett's got Kent State back within a point. 2019 RedHawks, 8:17 to go in the first half of the second semifinal here at the MAC tournament. Winner on to face defending champion and regular season champion Akron in the final tomorrow night. Suter alone, far side 3. It's good. Count it for Pete. Into double digits, the first RedHawk to do so tonight. He's got 11, and Miami leads by 4 with 7:55 to go in the first half. Medley takes 2 steps right, tried to put it into the paint for Gillespie, but he airmailed him just off the fingertips of Gillespie in traffic. It will go out of bounds and be Miami basketball as we've reached a timeout on the floor. 7:47 to go in the first half. Miami with a 4-point advantage over Kent State, looking to take 3 of 3 this season over the Golden Flashes and go to the MAC title game for the first time in a decade and a half. We'll return to Rocket Arena in a moment. You're listening to the Mid-American Conference semifinals in Miami basketball on Red Hawk Radio. RedHawks lead by 4, 23-19. Miami in front of Kent State with 7:47 to go in the first half. Alongside Kethan, Babu, Poley on hand here from Cleveland. Miami has won both meetings this year. They've won the last 3 meetings. The only win Kent State has against Travis Steele at Miami was the first game the Golden Flashes played against the RedHawks in year 1. Under Coach Steele, Miami's won all 3 since and looking to win their 4th in a row as the RedHawks meet Kent State in the MAC tournament for the first time under Travis Steele. Miami into the front court leading by 4, chance to open up their largest lead of the game as it stayed within 2 possessions throughout. Pete Suter, no-look pass to the near side. It was intercepted by Von Cameron Davis, who will nick it out of bounds into the scorer's table. 7.5 to go in the first. It'll stay Miami basketball with 13 on the shot timer. Suter inbounds to the big man, Potter up top. Now it's Byers whipping it back for Suter just outside the paint on the far wing. Suter wants space. He shoulders in on Sumlin, fades away from 10, and it is pure for Pete. 13 to lead all scorers for Suter, and the RedHawks now have a 6-point advantage with 7:10 to go in the first half. In the far corner for Kent State, Von Cameron Davis jabs. He muscles in on Brant Byers, trying to hook it over top the Miami freshman, but left it well short. Doesn't look like it caught any rim. Meanwhile, Ipsaro comes all the way in and lays it up at the rack around the swat attempt from Von Cameron Davis, but he missed it. And Kent State will now take it the other direction. A post-entry wraparound pass takes a deflection off Suter and heads out of bounds. We have seen Ipsaro make some business decisions over the last couple weeks to just take it across half court and speed all the way to the rack. Did so there, but unsuccessfully for Miami. Kent State back on the offensive end. And just inside the arc, short feed for Medley. He finds Sullinger, who puts up a runner from the right elbow. Won't go, but on the putback, count it, and 1 for Von Cameron Davis. The Mr. Basketball in Ohio back in 2020. Von Cameron Davis from Walnut Ridge High School in Columbus will go to the free throw line. Miami's done a great job limiting him in the first 2 meetings, averaging just 6 points per game against the RedHawks compared to his nearly 15 on the season. Davis with his first basket today, and now a chance for an old-fashioned 3 at the free throw line. He can't hit it though, and a rebound in traffic takes a couple ping-pongs before finding the arms of Peter Suter for Miami. Suter will leave it for Ipsaro up near the logo. Ipsaro plays the handoff game with Cam Kraft. Now it's Potter handing back for Ipsaro between the circles. Ipsaro dribbling, waist high with his left hand. Back for Potter on the wing. Hands off Ipsaro. No look pass into the corner for Kraft. It flew out of his hands for a moment. He regathers and now has it. Finds Suter with 4 to shoot. Suter will just pull up from 20 feet. And it will not go in for him. Rebound falls to the far side. And Mike Bekelcha for Kent State, who will scoop it up for the Golden Flashes. Now it's Davis from the left elbow. Thought about a pass. Will pull up instead and splashes the mid-range jumper. Can see the talent there for Von Cameron Davis. Thought about it for a while. Decided to just pull up. He's got Kent State back within 2. Meanwhile, Potter slithers to the rim between 3 yellow jerseys. But with the left hand, he can't connect on the free throw. And now he'll foul Medley from behind as the Golden Flashes were heading back up the floor. That's the 6th team foul for Miami as Potter picks up his first. And Travis Steele is fuming with the official on the far bench. Check that, rather. That's Miami's 7th foul as a team. So 1-on-1 free throws here for Kent State, and they'll shoot the bonus for the final 5:32 of the first half. Chance to tie it at the free throw line for Kent State. Down 25-23. Golden Flashes have only committed 2 fouls in this game. Jan Medley at the free throw line, 80% shooter on the season, but he misses the front end of the 1-and-1. And we get a whistle and a foul on Kent State on the rebound. A little bit of a delayed reaction there as everybody just kind of froze, but a foul against the Golden Flashes, and they're now 0 for 3 from the free throw line. 2 and 1s and a missed front end of a 1-and-1. And Kent State has not made Miami pay at the line yet tonight, despite being the second best free throw shooting team in the MAC and top 50 in the country at 76%. Miami keeps the lead. RedHawks will bring it into the front court. It's Evan Ipsaro running the point with the bright green shoes. Wants a screen up top. Now Potter will release off and roll towards the basket. Ipsaro speeds down the left alley. Shot fake, tried to shovel it back out for Potter. It was deflected away by Medley, who collects the steal, catches contact out near half court. Wanted a foul, didn't get it. Still with it. He'll go all the way under the basket, try to stuff it under the double team. Got a shot up, but it rolled across the heel and fell on the near side on the rebound to Pete Suter. He'll rainbow it ahead for Potter. Back outside, a touch pass between Ipsaro and Suter, and he's got it at the top of the key. Suter, a bullet near wing for Ipsaro. Shimmies back to the top of the key. He'll give it out. Suter on the left wing. Miami wanted a foul with some contact inside. Now a right wing three try late in the shot clock from Potter, and that falls well short. And the rebound to Kent State, and Travis Steele is furious on the far side that Ipsaro, as he was cutting across the nail, did not get a foul call, and Miami fans now making their voices known. Meanwhile, a step back three is good for the left side for Jalen Sullinger. And a timeout called by Travis Steele, and he goes right to the official on the far side, and he is hot for this RedHawks team as Sullinger hit the step back triple from the left wing, and Travis Steele just is beside himself. He cannot believe that a couple plays have not resulted in fouls in this first half for the RedHawks.
Kent State holds the lead by 1 now. Miami hasn't scored in 3 minutes, Luke. So they came out hot. They held that advantage, but I don't know what's going on these last couple minutes. They haven't been able to find the rim.
RedHawks 9 for 24 from the field. They have just 4 makes, I should say, from inside the arc. A lot of upchucking right now for the RedHawks from 3 as Travis Steele calls his use it or lose it timeout.
Miami now has 7 personal fouls to Kent State's 3, and 2 of them come from Brant Byers. I don't think Brant Byers fouls often, no?
Yeah, Byers has played pretty clean basketball, and he's a guy that really has embraced the role of coming on and off the floor, which hasn't really allowed him to commit a ton of fouls. He's very efficient for this RedHawks team. He's not a guy that's going to play a crazy amount of minutes for this group, but he has been extremely effective when he's been on the floor, averaging 8.5 points per game in his freshman season, which was good enough for the Rookie of the Year award in the league.
I think you can see that today. He already has 5 points, and yesterday he played a quiet game. I should have said that yesterday even, but 3 points when, like you said, he's averaging in the double figures mostly every game against MAC opponents.
He's a guy that analytically you'd probably love if you are familiar with the way that the NBA game is going, or maybe if you follow a former MAC coach who had some success in this league, and Nate Oates, who's now at Alabama. You know that when talking expected value, threes and dunks are the way to go, and that is pretty much all Byers does. You're not going to see him pull up very often. He is mostly a sniper from the perimeter and a guy that can cut to the basket and get easy looks under the hoop. 26-25, Kent State leading Miami. This game has stayed within 6 throughout the entirety of the first 15 and a half minutes. 4:22 to go in the first half. If you're wondering why we started about 25 minutes late, it's not because the game before this went to overtime or even that there were any long delays, but there was just a ton of fouling in that Akron-Toledo semifinal. There has been not as much in this one. About average, you'd say, with 10 fouls unevenly split between the teams. Miami's got 7, but they will move it to the offensive end coming out of this timeout with a full underclass lineup out there as Reese Potter holds it underneath the top of the key. Hands off Byers straight away with Elmer, Skaljak, and Cooper out there for the RedHawks. All freshmen and sophomores. Skaljak on the far flank with 10 to shoot. Wraps it around to the top of the key. Skowjak drives, bumps, leaves it for Potter. Double teamed under the hoop. He will force it up through two sets of arms and put it off the window and in to give Miami the lead back. Reese Potter with a second basket. He's got 4. And the RedHawks lead at 27-26. Potter now gambles for a steal. And to the far side, a shot fake and nearly an open 3 for Begelcha. But Miami does well to close him off. He'll pull it back down. Now it's Davis in the high post. 11 to shoot, spins toward the low block, working on Byers, trying to go inside out. He stumbled and traveled as Byers kind of pseudo pulled the chair out on him there as Von Cameron Davis approached the paint. And Kent State will give it away for the 7th time in the half. It's Miami ball with 3:26 to go. In half number 1, 27-26 the score. Drive and kick for Cooper, finds a wide open Elmer in the far corner, but the three-pointer will rattle off. Elmer continuing to struggle. He's 1 for 6 from the field, every single one of his shots from beyond the arc, which is not normal. Sullinger cuts it across the nail, pulls up from the free throw line. It takes a bounce off the backside rim and won't fall as Luke Skowjak's got the board. Up ahead, he finds Makai Cooper, who will stumble his way to the MAC logo and draw the foul with 3 yellow jerseys and a triangle around him. Still plenty of fouls to give for Kent State, so no free throw shooting for Makai Cooper. He is 1 of 4 RedHawks yet to score in this first half. 3 minutes to go in it. Miami leads 27-26 in the MAC semi. Cooper on the far wing, finds Potter, left wing 3 from the center. Too strong, but a grown man's board from Ian Elmer, and he gets fouled as he comes back down. Whoa. Ian Elmer, top of his head was, it looked like up near the top of the backboard there, going after that rebound, and he draws the foul. Elmer is the most athletic member of this Miami team, and they will call it a shooting foul, actually, so he'll get to take free throws, and he knocks down the first. So see if this can get going, get Elmer going a little bit, as he's a 67% free throw shooter this year. Already 6 boards, though, in the game for Ian Elmer, who averages about 5 on the season. Second one up and good for the former Ohio State champ out of Powerhouse Taft High School. Make it a 2-for-2 trip. Reese Potter going to come off for Miami. He's replaced by Antoine Woolfolk, and now Pete Suter back onto the floor for the RedHawks to take Brant Byers' place. Kent State will now bring on Claron Hornbeek, who has seen some spot minutes in this first half. Senior out of St. Francis de Sales High School. Kent State into the front court, chasing 3, 2:40 to go, first half. Handoff up top for Sion Medley. The A-10 transfer from SLU, that has been a breeding ground for Kent State guys throughout the last couple of years. Miami's going to commit a foul as Makai Cooper was active with his hands going for the steal. He'll pick up his first foul, and that will put the Golden Flashes on the free throw line. Cam Kraft coming back in for the RedHawks, and 1-and-1 shots upcoming for Jalen Sullinger, who is a lights-out free throw shooter at 88%. First trip for Sullinger tonight, and he rattles in the first. Again, more of a defensive battle for Miami. They find themselves in their second game in Cleveland, much like yesterday, as Sullinger goes 2 for 2, making both without much issue. RedHawks shooting the ball noticeably worse than Kent State, but they've made their free throws, and they're winning the turnover battle, which has been the difference. Makai Cooper takes it across the timeline on the right wing. Handoff for Kraft. He will pick up his dribble at the logo and direct traffic in front. He'll bounce it off 10 feet to his left for Antoine Woolfolk, who will scoop it back up near half court for Suter. Comes off a screen right. Suter jumps and kicks to the far side for Kraft. Extra to the wing for Elmer. Back up top, it's Suter at the logo. 8 to shoot. Suter tried a no-look pass and went right into the hands of Gillespie. Kent State running. Sumlin tries the behind the back on the dribble and tossed it up. Little off balance there. It was too strong. And Kraft has got the rebound for Miami. As the RedHawks take it back up ahead, Suter threads it in for Woolfolk, who will hop up at the MAC logo and draw the foul in the air. He will go to the free throw line. Marquise Barnett picks up his first personal, and that is the 16th foul for Kent State. So the gap starting to close for the Golden Flashes. 2 shots here for Antoine Woolfolk. And he'll misfire on the first one. Woolfolk, a 65% free throw shooter who has picked his spots to be active offensively. More of a rim protecting defender for this RedHawks team. In the regular season, though, did average 7.7 points per game, mostly in sporadic scoring efforts. As many as 21 against Eastern Michigan. He misses them both. Suter, though, on the rebound, goes flying into the baseline to scoop it back out. Now he's back up to the wing, catches the feed, but can't hit the 3 off the pass from Woolfolk. And Kent State's got the rebound.
Almost an incredible play from Suter. He had that same play on the opposite side of the court, grabbing that ball out of bounds.
29-28 Miami, 93 seconds to go first half. Barnett inserts it to the post for Gillespie. Shouldering in on Woolfolk. He will skyhook it over the top. Too strong, and he commits a foul. Going for his own rebound. He got it cleanly, but he's called going over the back there on Antoine Woolfolk. And that is the 7th team foul for Kent State, and that will send Antoine Woolfolk to the free throw line. Minute 25 to go in the first half. Possession arrow in favor of Kent State at the moment. Golden Flashes still have their use it or lose it timeout. Miami does not, as Travis Steele called a 30-second one earlier on in the half. Woolfolk at the line for 1-and-1s, and he'll deposit the first one in after missing both in his first trip on the last possession. Miami won for their last 8 from the field, but as we have seen the RedHawks play complementary basketball all year, they've made up for it defensively, which has allowed them to keep the lead in this spot. Not enough on the second free throw for Woolfolk. And Claron Hornbeek goes up to get the rebound for Kent State. Von Cameron Davis from the right elbow, faces up on the basket, spinning on Elmer, pulls up for the MAC logo. Shot is wide right. Elmer's got the board for Miami. That's his 7th of the game. 1:04 to go first half. 2-point RedHawk lead. Suter between the legs, from his right to his left on the dribble. Finds Elmer, drive, pull up from the free throw line. Count it for Ian Elmer. His first attempt from inside the arc, and he puts it in to give Miami a 4-point lead. Shot and game clock separated by 20 seconds. A wild shot tossed up off the top of the backboard by Sullinger. He wouldn't get it as he was falling away, but the putback goes in for Hornbeek plus the foul. It looks like Sullinger just tripped there, and he threw it off the top of the backboard, but it ricocheted right to Hornbeek, who put it back in and got fouled. And that will put Hornbeek on the line for the 3rd and 1 free throw of the half for Kent State. And again, he will miss it. And on the rebound, Von Cameron Davis got 2 hands on the ball, but did so with his foot on the baseline. It'll be Miami ball. So Kent State with 3 and 1s, but they have not made the RedHawks pay for it at all. The 2nd best free throw shooting team in the MAC. 2 of 6 from the line in the first half. 32-30 Miami, 38 seconds and counting to go. Shot and game clocks separated by 10 seconds as we approach halftime. Potter hands it for Cooper up top. Picks up his dribble, lobs it into the paint for Ian Elmer. He has to bat it to himself outside. Now he's trapped in the corner and he gives it away. Rob Senderoff wants a timeout. And finally he'll be granted it as Jamal Sumlin held the ball for 5 or 6 seconds there. And Senderoff was right in the official's face signaling timeout. For some reason there was no whistle, but finally there is. That's the use it or lose it for Kent State. And so Rob Senderoff, the veteran 13th year head man of these Golden Flashes, will draw something up for this final possession with the shot clock off. These two coaches know each other well. Both spent time on Kelvin Sampson's staff in Indiana from 2006 to 2008. Rob Senderoff has been a long-time head coach in this league, trying to get back to the NCAA tournament for the first time in a couple of seasons. Went there with a team led by Sincere Carey, bowed out in the first round to Indiana that year. A roster that featured Miller Kopp and Trace Jackson Davis, among others. Last year, things went very poorly for the Golden Flashes in the championship game. They made a magical run as the 8th seed, the last seed in Cleveland, all the way to the title game, scored with just about 10 seconds left to take a 1-point lead over Akron, and then fouled, thinking they were down 1 instead of up 1. Akron hit 2 free throws, and that iced the game as the Zips qualified for the NCAA tournament. Miami going to trap here coming off the inbound, but Kent State will alleviate as Barnett catches on the far side. He'll take it into the front court with 12 seconds to go. He hands for Medley. Wants help at the logo with 8 seconds. Hands it off far side. Nope, he faked it, looking for Sullinger. 5 seconds to go. He'll step it back and trigger and hit from the far wing. 2 seconds to go and 1. Skaljak's full court heave comes late. And how about a couple step back threes from Kent State? They will steal all the momentum away as C.N. Medley with his first basket of the half on an unideal look, but he finds the nylon right before the buzzer on the far side with a 3, and the Golden Flashes now lead it at the break, 33-32. Well, that is not how you wanted things to finish, Kethan, if you're Miami, as this Red Hawk team looked like they might cruise to halftime with about a 2-possession lead, but Red Hawk shot the ball at a really low clip in that first half, 37% from the field and 26% from 3. And despite leading in both rebounding margin and turnover margin, Miami finds themselves down, although it is just by 1 at halftime.
That's right. I would argue that they're shooting better, from what I can tell, than yesterday against Eastern Michigan. That first 20 minutes against Eastern Michigan didn't exactly inspire confidence, but you're looking at the score now, especially that last three-pointer. I'm sure Miami would want to take that back. That's a huge, momentum is huge in every sport, but especially basketball where things can change so quickly. I'm sure Miami would like to reevaluate and figure out how you can hold someone like Jalen Sullinger, who already has 16 points.
Indeed, Sullinger's been a guy that can go off if you're Kent State. He scored as many as 32. He's on pace to match that, which would be a season high for Sullinger, the senior out of Columbus and Thomas Worthington High School. Leader offensively for Miami is 13, and you talked about yesterday it was slightly better for the Redhawks in terms of shooting in the first half. They were 10 for 30 yesterday. They are 11 for 29 from the field today, so a slightly better clip, but still offensively Miami not really clicking at the moment. Good news is yesterday they came out looking much better in the second half. They'll try to do so again here tonight to keep their season going and attempt to punch their ticket to the MAC title game. Kethan and I will be back for you in just about 10 minutes time for the call of the second half. For now, we will take a break, and when we return, it'll be Bryan Miller back home in Oxford with your Red Hawk Radio halftime report. After 20 minutes from Rocket Arena in MAC semifinal number 2, our score Kent State 33 and Miami 32. Stay with us. You're listening to Miami basketball at the MAC tournament on Red Hawk Radio.
Report. Kent State up 33-32 over the Miami RedHawks. A very evenly, very competitive first half, as you would expect in the MAC semifinals. Been pretty much everything we expected so far. Has been very similar first half wise to what we saw yesterday for Miami shooting wise against Eastern Michigan. First half shooting wise for Miami today, 11 for 29 from the field. That's just under 38%, and 5 for 19 on 3-point attempts. That's just over 26% from 3-point land. Pretty comparable to what we saw in the first half yesterday against Eastern Michigan. They were 10 for 30 from the field, 33%, and 33% from 3-point land as well, 5 for 15. But as we saw yesterday with Miami, they were really able to improve those margins in the second half against the Eagles. They shot 54% from the field and 50% even on 3-point attempts against the Eagles yesterday. You would really hope to see, and for Miami to advance to the next round to take on Akron again. They're really going to have to improve those shooting numbers just like they did yesterday against the Eagles. One guy that's really stepped up for Miami today, though, has been Pete Suter. I mean, he's been able to contribute for Miami even when he hasn't been scoring the ball, as we saw yesterday. He only had 7 points, but had 10 rebounds and 10 assists yesterday. But today has really been able to improve scoring wise, has 13 points today, and has been pretty efficient as well. 5 for 7 from the field and 3 for 5 on 3-point attempts. And for the Kent State side, it has really been led by Jalen Sullinger. My goodness, what a half for him, especially early on in the game. Scored KSU's first 9 points and 11 of their first 15. Able to contain him a little bit, but weren't able to completely stop him. Got a couple big time threes later on in the second half. Sullinger ends the first half with 16 points, 5 for 8 from the field, 4 for 5 on 3-point attempts, 2 for 2 from the free throw line as well. Also has 3 rebounds on top of that. Has really led the show for the Golden Flashes today. The next leading scorer for them has been Marquise Barnett with 6 points. So just shows how big Sullinger has been so far for the RedHawks today. And for Miami, Ian Elmer, the next leading scorer, 7 points on the day today, 2 for 7 from the field, 1 for 6 on 3-point attempts, but leads all players today with 7 rebounds. Has really stepped up today for Miami, getting those rebounds and taking a lead in the rebounding battle today. Miami is up 21-18 in that department. And also, well, they were, but not quite anymore. They were leading the turnover battle, but pretty even so far. Kent State with 7 turnovers, Miami with 6. So, yeah, I guess Miami is leading the turnover battle. I misread that there for a second. I apologize for that. But Miami playing very, very even so far. Just got to shoot a little bit better in order to come back and win this very competitive game and get back to the MAC championship for the first time since 2007. Revisiting our keys to the game before we send you back to Cleveland. First key today has been trying to stay composed in a very physical, very emotional game like this. It's easy to let your emotions get the best of you and make a mistake that you cannot afford. But I haven't really seen anything too bad today. No technical fouls so far. Got 5 players in today's game with 2 fouls. So if any one of Jalen Sullinger, Gillespie, Hornbeak, Woolfolk, or Byers is able to get a foul early on in this game, could be a pretty significant deal as we roll towards the end of this game. If I was Miami offensively, could look to go right at Sullinger on offense if he picks up that 3rd foul early. With how he's been playing on the other end on the offense, could be in their best interest to try get him that 3rd foul to make him sit out for a few minutes and have someone else step in for Kent State would be a major, major deal for them as we enter the second half. Next key, been taking the points. How have we been doing at the free throw line today for Kent State? Just 2 for 6, which honestly is pretty surprising for such a team that is very good, very reliable from the free throw line. It has only been Jalen Sullinger. He's 2 for 2. Has the only points today for the Flashes at the free throw line. Everyone else 0 for 1. Davis, Medley, Barnett, and Hornbeak. For Miami, slightly better, but not quite to the expectations that Travis Steele would say. 5 for 8 today, 62.5%. Elmer and Byers both 2 for 2 on the free throw line today, and Antoine Woolfolk 1 for 4 from the charity stripe. Not one of Miami's stronger free throw shooters, but still right around 60% or so. So a little bit off target there for Woolfolk. And then winning the turnover battle, mentioned it earlier, Miami forcing 7 turnovers today and only giving the ball up 6 times so far. So winning the turnover battle by 1. Would think Miami's in pretty good shape there. And as I mentioned earlier, they're winning the rebounding battle 21-18 over Kent State. Few keys to the second half's been a quiet day so far for Cam Kraft after scoring 24 against Eastern Michigan. Really showed out against the Eagles. Has no points in the first half, 0 for 2 from the field. Both of those 3-point attempts and one rebound as well in 13 minutes. Obviously, Kraft, a very streaky player, but that means he's just one shot away from getting on a hot streak and really turning this game around. That would be pretty big for Miami if you're able to get the sharpshooter Kraft going. Would be a much needed asset in the quest to beat the Golden Flashes and make it to the MAC championship game. And once again, for the Kent State side, I could say the exact same thing about Vaughn Cameron Davis. 4 points today, 2 for 8 from the field, 0 for 1 on 3-point attempts, 0 for 1 on free throws, has 3 rebounds and 1 steal as well in 18 minutes for the Flashes. Another quiet day for Davis, is only able to have 3 points in the last game against Western Michigan, although that mostly had to do with foul trouble as well. He has been out there for nearly all of today's games so far, Davis is, so could be something to look out for in the second half. Mentioned Travis Steele if you're watching the CBS Sports Network broadcast. Mentioned we just got to make our threes, man. I mean, 5 for 19, 26% on 3-point attempts so far. They're getting open looks throughout the entire half, just not able to get them down. As I mentioned in the beginning of this halftime show, very reminiscent of the game against Eastern Michigan, but they were able to turn that around, shooting 50% against the Eagles in the second half. They're able to do that again, should be in pretty good shape, although that will be a much more challenging task against a very good and formidable Kent State defense. And then as well, just getting more turnovers for Miami and trying to slow down Jalen Sullinger. If you're able to get the third foul on him early on in the second half, could be a really big deal. So I would expect maybe a set or two from Miami to start off the second half, trying to get at Jalen Sullinger in a one-on-one situation, try to pick up that third foul. Well, that should just about do it for the halftime report. I've been your host, Bryan Miller. Be back with you for the post-game show in a very competitive game between the Miami RedHawks and Kent State Golden Flashes. Flashes up 33-32 over Miami, trying to make it back to the MAC championship for the first time since 2007, trying to get a much anticipated rematch against the Akron Zips. Take a quick break, and then Luke and Kethan will be right back with you for the second half live from Cleveland. Stay tuned for Miami men's basketball on Red Hawk Radio.
20 minutes left here today inside Rocket Arena. We got a good one in semifinal number 2 on the men's side. Kent State with a big 3 at the buzzer from Sion Medley to take the lead over Miami just prior to half. Our score now headed into the final 20 minutes. Golden Flashes 33 and RedHawks 32. Back with you here up in the corner from Rocket Arena. Poley and Kethan Babu on hand. Kethan, much like yesterday, this RedHawks team didn't shoot it great. You were hoping you exercised your demons after getting through that and winning the game yesterday. However, for Miami, it's going to have to look very similar for them here in this one. They defended very well in the first half yesterday. They did again today. They went into the first half tied yesterday, down a point here, headed into the final 20 minutes in this one. But overall, if you're the RedHawks, you just have to hope that these shots will start falling for you, and you're going to have to continue to lean heavily on your defense, which has gotten it done in the first 20.
That's right, and like you said, Miami did fix some of their mistakes from yesterday. You talk about Peter Suter, who had a relatively quiet game. He fought back in the final 10 minutes, but relatively quiet for his standards. Now he has 13 points, but then you look at someone like Cam Kraft, who yesterday he had 24 points, and he remains scoreless right now. He doesn't have any point in his 13 minutes of play. It looks like Miami fixed some of the things, but it's almost like the wheels are falling off a little bit in terms of Cam Kraft is going scoreless, and Makai Cooper, who usually puts up a couple points, he's reliable. He's also scoreless. Evan Ipsaro without a point. Miami just needs to get their reliable scores like we've talked about several times this season. Miami's got one of the deepest benches in the MAC and in the country, and just need to rely on those players once more.
Yeah, RedHawks scored 35 bench points in the game yesterday compared to just 8 for Eastern Michigan. They crushed the Eagles in that category, and that was a major reason why the RedHawks hung on for a win. It was thanks to the bench mob, as Reese Potter shouted out.
I love
Postgame.
that. That was great.
Miami will start with their same starting 5 as normal in the white uniforms, and they will have possession to start going from right to left. Kent State in the golds, they go left to right. So glad you could join us, settle back, and enjoy this second half. Should be a good one from Rocket Arena in the MAC semi. Cam Kraft catches for Miami, galloping it to the far side. He will play catch with Makai Cooper, and now back to the near wing at Suter. To the far side, Kraft, deep 3. Sneaks over the front rim, off the backboard, and in for Cam Kraft, and he's got his first points on cue.
Maybe he heard us.
After missing his first 2 3-pointers in the first half. Miami back in the lead, 35-33 after the tray by Kraft. It's Sullinger up top, leading all scores with a game-high 16. What a game it has been for Kent State's second leading scorer in Sullinger, although the Golden Flashes are going to throw it away. Leading scorer, I should say, Jalen Sullinger, as they try to go into the post, looking for Von Cameron Davis, their second leading scorer, and they air-milled it. So turned over by Sion Medley. The RedHawks will have it back. Turnovers were an issue for Kent State in the first, as they lost both the turnover and rebounding battles. Pete Suter, short corner left, shouldering into the paint. Triple team comes as he tries to get rid of a pass, and he gets the ball batted away. Travis Steele pleading for a foul with the official, but none coming. On Cameron Davis, near angle extended. 1-2 step inside the arc, now makes his way to the paint. A 180 attempt at a shot. Barely touches the front of the rim, and the RedHawks have it back to the front court. Kraft, a far side 3. Count it, off the hand from Suter. And you're starting to see that confidence heating up for Cam Kraft as he takes a semi-contested 3 early in the shot clock. No problem for the transfer from Xavier and former 4-star recruit Cam Kraft. Meanwhile, a step back on the far side, going the other way, and Jalen Sullinger rips the rope. Sullinger has been so confident letting the ball loose in this game. He's 5 for 6 from beyond the arc, and he's got 19 points. 38-36 Miami leading, 2 minutes into half 2 here from Rocket Arena. Crowd has stuck it out all day long, and they're being treated to a good one here in the final semifinal. Suter with a fadeaway from the second hash on the near side, and it'll go in and out. Sullinger's got the rebound for Kent State. 4 boards for the Golden Flashes leading scorer, Jalen Sullinger. Preseason first-team All-MAC selection. He's got it out near the logo. He gets one poke from Makai Cooper, now comes off a screen left. Sullinger, shimmy shake, back and forth, finds Davis, right wing three. Wedged a little long, but the rebound yanked away by Gillespie. He'll kick it out for a far side try, but Medley can't hit it, and the RedHawks have the secondary board as Suter will go straight ahead. Into the paint, goes up and under, and lays it in, plus the foul. Suter got turned around and threw that ball back over his head after navigating through the yellow jerseys in the paint, and Suter puts it in with the harm, and he'll go to the line. 15 points for Pete, 6 for 9 from the field with 6 rebounds and 3 assists. Said he made his free throws yesterday, as Travis Steele said postgame. He would have had a triple-double. Maybe inching towards threatening that territory again here tonight. Yesterday he did not have the points. Today that has not been a problem as he drains the free throw, and that puts him up to 16 for the game. 41-36 Miami as we approach the 3-minute mark of the second half. So Rocco Gillespie, who had a season-ending injury last year but has started half the games for Kent State this season and played in all of them, puts it up top, played in all but one I should say. Now back in the paint, Barnett just got to a loose ball, spun around in traffic and somehow put that one through. Broken play basket there for Kent State. And the Golden Flashes have it back down to one possession. It's a 3-point game. Woolfolk got lost in the paint, but he got closed out before he could turn around for a shot. He'll kick out instead. Kraft, an ear side triple effort. Won't go on the fadeaway. And the rebound to Kent State. Sullinger speeds to the baseline. Forced back near the corner for Cooper. He will slip it to a cunning teammate there in Gillespie, and he will get fouled. Foul is against Suter. Beg your pardon, it was Barnett rather, not Gillespie on the cut. And so he will go to the free throw line. Barnett 66% from the stripe. Had a season low 5 minutes in the first meeting between these two teams. 7 points in the second game, both Kent State losses. Leaves the first free throw short. And the struggles continue from the line for the Golden Flashes. Don't know if it's nerves, pressure, or what, but it really feels like we saw it yesterday and we're seeing it again today as the free throw up and through. Really, in all the games on both the women's and men's sides, MAC teams in general here in the tourney have struggled to shoot free throws. 2-point game. Suter climbs through the center of the paint, kick to a wide open Kraft, but the feed just wasn't in the wheelhouse and Kraft fumbled it out of bounds. And so it will be Kent State ball again after the 8th Miami turnover. Golden Flashes have now closed the turnover gap. 8 aside as they try to retie this game. 41-39 as it currently stands. Miami in front. Just under 4 minutes to go. Sullinger tosses it up in traffic and it goes plus the foul. Sullinger got put into a spin cycle, all turned around, and his hands could not have gotten much higher than his waist there. He just chucked it in the direction of the basket, looking for the foul call, got it, and got a lucky bounce off the window for the ball to find its way through. Sullinger, though, can't bury the free throw, and so the game will stay tied. Wow, that was a crazy shot by Sullinger, but again, after a 4th and 1 by Kent State, they still have not hit the back-end free throw for a 3-point play. 41-41 our score. Immediate timeout upcoming at the next dead ball. Elmer steps in the arc on the right wing. Long 2, lifted up, missed off right. Rebound to Kent State. Sullinger pushing, stops at the baseline. Now going again from near side to far side. Pivots back into the paint from the far block. Fades away, can't connect. And Pete Suter plucks away the rebound for Miami. Numbers for the RedHawks. Suter pushing, tries to thread through the double team, took a spill and threw it away. And Travis Steele is furious and he gets a technical foul. And Travis Steele has not been a happy man all game long. And finally, the officiating crew had enough of his words as he stopped his feet and started just running back towards the far corner of the Miami bench near the baseline.
He's usually pretty level-headed. He can get energetic, he can shout, but you rarely see him, and I almost wanted to say this yesterday, where he gets up and he yells like that in the ref's face.
So a technical foul to Travis Steele of Miami, and that'll bring us to a timeout on the floor. Unfortunate sequences for this RedHawks team. They find themselves, though, in a tied game with 15:21 to go in the second half. 41-41, we are square from Rocket Arena in Cleveland. You're listening to the MAC Tournament, Miami Basketball on Red Hawk Radio. $15:21 to go, second half. Second semifinal between the second-seeded Miami RedHawks and third-seeded Kent State Golden Flashes. This tournament has not seen an upset yet, as on both the men's and the women's sides, high seeds have taken every game. 41-41 our score. 15:21 to go in the second half. Kent State faithful getting on their feet for, right before the break, a technical foul that was whistled against Travis Steele of Miami. RedHawks are still in the huddle, by the way. This is weird, as Kent State is already lined up to shoot the free throws, and Miami still got the chairs on the floor. And now Travis Steele is further frustrated with this officiating crew as they've pulled Kent State out onto the floor. Of course, Travis Steele's got to be very careful here that he doesn't say anything too much to the officials already on one technical, but he's much more calm now, but still pleading his case to the official on the far bench. Jalen Sullinger, though, will go to the free throw line for 2 shots. Travis Steele has really not been happy with what he feels like have been some repeated missed fouls against this RedHawks team, and so he takes the technical, and Sullinger hits the first free throw. Second one up, and it'll 360 the rim and drop for Sullinger, so he makes them both, and he's got 23 points. Had 13 yesterday. Make it 5 straight in double figures for Sullinger, and it's his 8th 20-point game of the season. He's had 3 games of 30 or more this year, and he's already inching close to that territory. Golden Flashes will get it on offense as well, with a chance to take a 2-possession lead. 43-41 the score, and Sullinger a 3 from the far side. Can't hit it as it clangs off the left side of the rim, and an offensive board for Gillespie. Stops his feet, throws it way back, and out near half court. Sullinger somehow saved that from being a back court, and Kent State will settle down in the half court. 8 on the shot clock. Sullinger to the near block, steps back short corner, now to the outside, puts up a 3. It'll rattle out, and Evan Ipsaro's got the ball for Miami. He'll go behind the back of the dribble and cross the timeline up the left side. Ipsaro on the logo, running the point for Miami, with Makai Cooper on the bench. Ipsaro, overhead pass, got deflected on its way through. It's picked up by Barnett, racing ahead for Kent State, or excuse me, rather, that is Medley, who will pull up from 10 feet away on the right side, and that will roll off the left side of the rim. RedHawks have the rebound, and it is Evan Ipsaro on the far wing that will come now to the near side. Picks up his dribble, finds Kraft up top. Kraft jabs once and twice, steps left, and now will head right, slings it off for Suter. Suter will worm between 2 defenders for Kent State, and finally a foul picked up by Suter, who has been beaten up in the paint tonight. Right as he crossed the free throw line, he was upended, and a foul is called against Claron Hornbeek. And for Hornbeek, that'll be his third already, so he's had some very limited minutes, just 7 in the game. And that is Hornbeek's third foul. Near side, Ipsaro fakes the three, left side of the key. Now will head into the paint, lays it up and in, plus the foul. The little Evan Ipsaro, what can't this kid do? Just 6 feet, and that's generous for the sophomore, but that has never stopped him from steamrolling down the lane. And Ipsaro's been an and one factory for Miami this season. He has another just now to tie the game at 43. He's a good free throw shooter, and he is perfect on the shot to give the RedHawks the lead. 44-43 Miami with 13:52 remaining. Kent State will roll it up the floor. Ipsaro not pressuring, so this ball's going to roll all the way over half court before Sullinger finally picks it up. Full 30 seconds in the front court to work with for Kent State. Sullinger skips it up top for Hornbeek, hands it back off Sullinger, thought about the three, pulls it back down. He'll step right, bullet to the left side. Barnett checks his feet, heads up the floor, catches contact to the inside, and a foul is called as he entered the paint. Cam Kraft will pick up his second personal, and that is the 4th team foul for Miami of the second half. Kraft will come off. Luke Skaljak, the freshman, on for the RedHawks. 13:39 to go, half two. 44-43 the score. As the ball rainbowed out near half court, Hornbeek dropped the inbounds pass, but luckily Sullinger darted out to go get it. Step back to shake Ipsaro, and he drills the three in his face. Jalen Sullinger with 26 points. And that might have been his nicest bucket of the night. Miami will try to answer as Skaljak fakes the three. He finds Byers wide open from the right side, and it will round the rim and not drop from three. And Kent State will bring it back up the floor. Jamal Sumlin wants a screen up top. 46-44 Kent State. 7 minutes gone by second half. He'll now motor down the right side. Stuffed underneath the rim by Luke Skaljak. 4-on-2 for the RedHawks ahead. Bounce pass, Suter into the paint, catches contact with the foul and the finish. Peter Suter, 18 points for him tonight, and he's got a chance for another at the line as it's another and one for Pete.
That's an electric run that Miami's on right now. They let it slip a little bit these last couple minutes, but now it's tied up 46-46. And like you said, Suter's getting hot, and Evan Ipsaro even's getting more involved in the game.
Suter, who went 10 for 10 from the free throw line with a 22-point performance against Kent State earlier this season, at the line for the N1 free throw and gets a lucky bounce to sneak it in and give Miami the lead again. Back and forth, these teams are throwing uppercuts. 47-46, Miami in front of Kent State for now. Maybe due for another fork in the road in the coming moments. 12:40 to go in the second half. Davis jabs, will bump Byers to get down the right side, but Byers will block his effort from behind to get a shot up at the rim. A couple of stuffs there by the RedHawks. And Miami back to the offensive end. Suter wide open underneath the key. Fadeaway, long two, won't go. Rebound, though, tapped to Skaljak, but in traffic, he has it torn away by Kent State. And a lean-in and foul called against the RedHawks. Evan Ipsaro will be called for it, as it was a smart play by Medley coming up the floor. He saw Ipsaro trying to get by him, and he just stepped in front, and Ipsaro clipped him from behind. And that is the 5th foul as a team for Miami of the half. Just Ipsaro's first, but that'll prompt Travis Steele to go to his bench and bring Makai Cooper back into the game. 47-46 RedHawks, 12:14 to go, second half. Winner on to face regular season champ Akron in the final in 24 hours. Hornbeek hands it off straight away. Euro into the paint for Sullinger, but he'll dish it to the corner. Barnett tarped by Makai Cooper. He'll back him down, trying to get to the paint. And we get a whistle and a foul called before he let go of the jumper from the right elbow, which did go down, but it's waved off, and a foul instead is called on the floor against Miami's Makai Cooper. Second foul on Mackay, 6th as a team for the RedHawks. Timeout on the floor. 11:57 to go, second half. Miami leads Kent State 47-46 from Rocket Arena in the land. We'll return in a moment. You're listening to Miami basketball at the MAC tournament on Red Hawk Radio. $11:57 to go. It is Miami 47 and Kent State 46 from Rocket Arena in Cleveland. For the 25th time, it is the MAC tournament inside this building. And Miami looking to win the MAC title for the first time since 2007. That was the last time they went to the title game. They will try to punch their ticket here tonight if they can hang on against Kent State. What a game it's been for Pete Suter and Jalen Sullinger. One guy for each team that has lit the scoreboard up. Kent State with a baseline inbounds. Davis shoulders in to get some room and draws the foul as Woolfolk got caught jumping there and came down on top of Von Cameron Davis. MAC All-Tournament team member last year, Von Cameron Davis, for this Kent State team on their way to the title game as an 8 seed. And he will go to the free throw line. Pete Suter with 19 points to lead Miami. Jalen Sullinger's got 26. 18 of them from the three-point line. Von Cameron Davis nets the first free throw. Fifth-year player for these Golden Flashes. He spent every season at Kent State. That is awfully rare, especially for a multi-time all-conference guy like himself to not hit the portal, to his credit. He misses the second free throw short, though, and the RedHawks do have the rebound. Tied game at 47 as Pete Suter brings it ahead. He'll wrap it into the post for Antoine Woolfolk. Pull-up mid-range jumper off the inner half of the rim. But it'll clang up to the near side where Marquise Bennett has the rebound for Kent State. Sullinger feeling himself on the far side. Couple crossover dribbles. Now he'll get rid of it. Back up top. It'll be bounced near the right elbow where Von Cameron Davis hauls it away from two RedHawk freshmen in Byers and Skaljack. Davis, stutter step with 10 on the timer, gives it back up top. It's Barnett to the near wing for Sullinger. 5 left to shoot. Sullinger races in to the corner for Davis. His three, little long, and the two white jerseys in the area will get the ball free, and it's Antoine Woolfolk that grabs the board for the RedHawks. It's been a little less active on the glass today, just 3 rebounds for Woolfolk, who averages about 6 a game. It'll make his way down the right side himself and draw the foul at the far block. Fouls against Clarana Hornbeek, and that's his 4th. And so that will force the hand of Rob Senderoff to bring Delreco Gillespie back onto the floor after this first free throw by Antoine Woolfolk, which swirls out. Cam Kraft coming back on to the floor for the RedHawks. He will likely take the place of Luke Skaljack, and yes, indeed, that's the case. Hornbeek, who is one of Kent State's best rebounders at a half dozen a game, will have to take a seat with 4 fouls. There's still just under 11 minutes to play. Woolfolk will give Miami the lead with the back-end free throws. He knocks it down. 48-47 RedHawks, 10:56 to go in the game here from Rocket Arena. Barnett will back in, eyeing his options, bounces it to the nail for Davis, facing up to the basket, trying to throw it back down low, and it was stolen away by the RedHawks. Cooper to the near side, Kraft, left wing three, never had a chance. And the rebound is scooped up by Medley for the Golden Flashes. Medley steps off a screen, tried to snake his way through, but he was forced back outside. Instead, he'll find Barnett. He'll drive, dump it off, and a foul is called as Gillespie rose up from 5 feet. Shot, luckily for the RedHawks, falls off the rim. But Antoine Woolfolk will get called for the foul, and that is his third. Miami's 16 fouls across the first 2 halves have been remarkably well distributed. Everybody that's entered the game has picked up at least 1 for the RedHawks. Woolfolk is the second RedHawk with 3. Brant Byers, the other who is on the floor for Miami, as Gillespie does connect on the first free throw. 75% free throw shooter, pretty good for a big for the junior forward out of Benton Harbor, Michigan. Played his high school ball in Georgia, and he nails the second free throw. 49-48 Kent State, 10:15 remaining. Woolfolk had trouble with the pass from Cooper, has it back, palming the ball in his right hand, shoulders in, double team comes, no look pass, Kraft under the basket, can't let loose a shot. Instead, he'll kick out Suter, cutting diagonally across the paint, spins, fade away goes from the MAC logo. Peter Suter's got 21. And for Miami, they lead again, 50-49 as we cross the halfway mark of the second. Barnett sidesteps to his right, bounces it to the block for Gillespie. He'll swing it up top, 3 from there. Bricked off the back iron by Medley, tapped out of bounds by Miami though on the rebound. And Kent State will have another shot at it on this possession as Brant Byers will come off the floor and Ian Elmer will make his return. Sullinger to inbound for the near side baseline for Kent State. Gets the ball in his hands, and he will give a 5-foot pass to the near corner for Gillespie. Handoff for Davis, climbs up the baseline, goes up and under with the foul, and scores. And Von Cameron Davis will go to the free throw line for another shot. Foul against Ian Elmer, picks up his second. And Von Cameron Davis will shoot 1 at the free throw line.
Both teams are loving that free throw line right now. It almost makes me worried for the final 2 minutes. See what we see there.
On Cameron Davis has struggled from the line, 1 for 3 today, as have the rest of the Flashes. They're just 8 for 15. Shot up and good. And finally, after the 5th and 1, Kent State can finally get a 3-point play. As despite the struggles from the field for Davis, he's 3 for 13. He is up to 8 points. 52-50 Golden Flashes. Kraft catches in the far corner, gallops into the paint. Woolfolk shot fake, opens up a wide open layup on the right side, and he'll put it in to tie the game. 52-52, 9:05 to go second half, as it's brought ahead by Sion Medley. Swung around the arc to the near side. Sumlin darts toward the basket, stopped at the edge of the paint by Kraft. He'll spin now to the paint, toss one up from 5 feet. It won't fall, but the cleanup from Gillespie will. And Kent State back in front. This game has not gotten outside 2 possessions at all tonight. Biggest lead is Miami by 6. Right now it's Kent State by 2. Kraft, the far side 3. Count it! Cam Kraft has made all 3 of his shots from the field from 3, as he is 3 for 7 from beyond the arc in the game, and Miami has the lead once again. Bump into the paint for Medley, pull-up jumper from the mid-range, in and out, and Suter physically works his way in for the board. He's got 8 rebounds in the game. Now Elmer slashing across the paint, crowded mid-range jumper from the elbow, snuck underneath the rim, And the rebound picked up by the Golden Flashes and Jamal Sumlin. The Cleveland native from James Ford Rhodes High School, not to be confused with James A. Rhodes, the namesake of the Akron Arena. Those are different people. Carried it into the front court for Kent State. Now it's Sullinger on the right angle extended. He'll slash it across to the MAC logo, toss it up with the left hand, won't get the bounce. Offensive rebound, put back, plus the foul for Gillespie. Miami has had an advantage on the glass statistically all night, but they have now allowed 7 offensive rebounds, and Antoine Woolfolk picks up his 4th foul on that last play. As Kent State grabs the lead back, they'll have a chance for another 3-point play, their 6th and 1 of the game. That on the other side of the break. Timeout on the floor from Rocket Arena. It's 56-55. Kent State in front of Miami, semifinals of the 25th MAC tournament here in Cleveland. You're listening to Miami Basketball on Red Hawk Radio. (56-55), Kent State leads Miami. This has been a 2-possession game since the jump. Golden Flashes currently leading by 1, and after their 6th and 1 of the game, that resulted in Antoine Woolfolk's 4th foul. He'll go to the bench, and Del Rocco Gillespie will go to the free throw line. Had a double-double yesterday against Western Michigan, and Gillespie today with 6 points and 9 boards. He'll have a chance on the end one free throw to extend Kent State's lead to 2. They have been all but free on the free throw line today, though, for the 2nd best foul shooting team in the MAC, as the Golden Flashes are 9 for 16. And they'll miss another one. So the Golden Flashes are now 1 for 6 on and 1 free throws tonight. And the RedHawks have the rebound as the lead stays at 1. Potter fakes the 3 from left to the key. Now he finds Ipsaro wide open in the paint. He'll kick instead. Corner 3, Elmer drops in. Great find for Evan Ipsaro, as he led the MAC in assist-to-turnover ratio in conference games for the 2nd straight year, and passed up on an open 2 for an open 3. And Elmer hits it to put Miami up a pair. 58-56 with 7:02 to go in the game. It's Sullinger, leading scorer in the game with 26, to the short corner left. Back up top on Cameron Davis. Dribbles between the legs, heads down the left alley, gets past a couple prodding defenders. His shot up from the block got stuffed away by Ian Elmer. Time running out for Kent State after the offensive rebound. It's chucked up from the logo by Sullinger, and that will touch off the front rim short. RedHawks have the rebound. 58-56 Miami with 6:34 to go. Suter driving, and a foul away from the ball, it appears. On the Golden Flashes as Sian Medley will pick it up. That's his first, 6th as a team for Kent State. Miami already at 10 team fouls in this half, 18 of them for the game, which you'd think would lead to some pretty significant foul trouble for the RedHawks. Woolfolk does have 4, but considering you fouled 18 times in the game, you're in a decent spot. Miami will inbound for the near sideline. It comes to Ipsaro to the far side, and he'll feed Elmer. Now Suter. Between the circles, pull up, heat check, rolls off, rebound fought for, ends up in the arms of Sullinger, who grabs it in space. Sullinger lead pass for Medley across the timeline on the right wing. Kent State trails by 2 with 6:11 to go. Spin into the paint for Gillespie in traffic, hooks it up, won't fall. Davis offensive rebound, put back, it'll drop. On Cameron Davis, the cleanup crew up to 10 points. The second Golden Flash into double figures despite the tough night from the field. He's missed 11 shots, but the game's even once again at 58. Elmer up top to the logo. He finds Suter with 21 in the game to go with 9 rebounds and 4 assists. Suter surveys. He'll dish for Kraft down the center of the paint, kicks Suter in the corner, sidestepping with 8 on the timer. He'll slither into the paint, trying to pull up from the mid-range. It got blocked, got the loose ball, gives it up top for Potter, driving into the paint. He'll loft it up at the buzzer, and it won't go on the runner from 8 feet out as he missed it wide left, and the Golden Flashes have the rebound. Sullinger tried to scoop it out for Barnett, but he fumbled with it, gets it away from Ipsaro to the paint. He'll bully him to the rack and put it in. And a timeout by Miami and Travis Steele as Marquise Barnett's hyping up the Kent State crowd. He's made his way all the way over to the far side opposite his bench to get the blue and gold on their feet. Kent State leads it by 2, 60-58 with 5:17 to go in the game. Miami calls the timeout. They've got 1 full and 1/32 timeout left. For Kent State, they've still got all 3 of their permissible timeouts they could carry into the second half. So take a breath. Miami's gone a little over 2 minutes now without scoring as the RedHawks are 1 for their last 5 from the field. RedHawks for the game, 20 for 49 and 9 for 27 from 3. Miami has hit, it felt like, Kethan, some important ones in this game, but just in terms of the volume 3-point shot, not going down at the rate they're used to seeing. And similarly to yesterday, because of that, they find themselves in a dogfight late in the game.
That's right. Like you said, and like we were talking about yesterday, Miami's usually one of the best teams in the country when it comes to taking shots from behind the arc. And tonight, it's just not seen it. 9 for 27. Peter Suter and Cam Kraft both have 3 each. Ian Elmer has 2 for 7. That's uncharacteristic for even him. He's usually pretty solid, especially on the left side of the court. But right now, I feel like the game's going to come down to the free throws. And both teams are shooting respectable at free throws. Kent State's at 9 for 17. Miami's at 9 for 13. And we're looking at the score now, 58-60, like you were talking about. The lead hasn't gone beyond 2 scores for the entire first half, and it likely won't going into these final minutes here. I don't see either team really slipping away with it. So we'll just have to see how teams are going at the free throw line, and Miami really needs to pay attention to those personal fouls when someone like Antoine Woolfolk is already at 4.
60-58 Kent State, 5:17 remaining in the second half. And again, Miami 5th nationally in 3-point shooting at almost 40% as a team. That is incredible. But this RedHawks team was not hitting them yesterday. They have not hit many of them here tonight. But again, we harken back to what Travis Steele said on Monday. There is going to be, he said, a game. It's turned out to be 2 games where you don't shoot the ball well. That is the reality of tournament play. And in years past for this Miami team, that meant they lost a game. This year, it feels like they've turned a corner, and even when they've not been hitting their shots because of shutdown defense and because of their ability to make free throws like you mentioned, when the field goals and the threes aren't going down, they've found ways to win. Does that carry into postseason play for this RedHawks team? Only time will tell. Miami ball, just over 5 to go. 60-58 is the Kent State lead. Elmer will bounce it ahead for Pete Suter. He's going to run the point for now for Miami with Evan Ipsaro standing on the far side block. Now Ipsaro and Kraft will come up near the free throw line and peel each way. Suter holding the ball between the circles. Dishes for Kraft, back up for Suter at the logo. Suter will dump it off for Potter. He gets a shot in the waist there from Barnett. We play on. Ipsaro fakes the three, finds Elmer. His three from up top won't go. Rebound is pulled off the glass there by Gillespie. And Kent State will take it into the front court with a chance to expand a two-possession lead. Von Cameron Davis from the far angle up top. Sullinger a three. Clangs off the back rim, and Cam Kraft will let it go into the Kent State bench off the skip. It'll go out of bounds and be Miami ball with 4:38 to go in the second half. Getting down to crunch time here for this RedHawks team. It's Evan Ipsaro running the point now. The sophomore takes it into the front court. Lasers it to Suter on the flank. Suter with the ball pinned on his waist. Now starts to dribble. He'll hand it off for Kraft. Short corner right. Pulls up and a long two. And it'll rattle in. Lucky bounce there for Kraft on a tough shot, but count it the same. We're tied up at 60 as Cam has 11 points. He's the third RedHawk into double figures behind Suter and Elmer. Von Cameron Davis pulls it away from a steal attempt by Kraft. Got all the way home without being touched, but missed the layup. And the RedHawks will tap the rebound to the far corner where Evan Ipsaro picks it up. Ipsaro will slowly trot his way into the front court. 5-out look for Miami. Now they'll go to work offensively. Suter off a screen on the left side. Ipsaro still with the basketball. He will make his way left. Find Elmer on the flank. Cross-court pass to Kraft on the far wing. Kraft makes his way up the baseline. He'll toss up a little sky hook from 5 feet away. It won't go. Puts his own miss back. That's short as well, but it's off of Kent State and out of bounds as Davis looked like he had his feet, rather that was Medley, chopped out from under him. But he must have just slipped and fallen and kind of landed on the basketball there and touched out of bounds. And so it'll be Miami ball with 18 to shoot when we come back. 3:28 to go in the second half. You will not want to miss this finish. 60-60 is our score inside Rocket Arena in the MAC Tournament semifinal in year 25 in Cleveland. We'll get to the finish line when we come back. You're listening to Miami Basketball on Red Hawk Radio. All tied, 3:28 to go, second half. MAC Tournament semifinal winner to face defending champs Akron. Miami and Kent State are level at 60. It's Red Hawk ball on the far baseline with 18 to shoot and 3.5 to go here from Rocket Arena in Cleveland. Luke West Poley, Kethan Babu back with you. Edge of the seat type action here in the northwest corner of the Buckeye State, northeast corner of the Buckeye State, I should say. And we've been treated to some great basketball this weekend. We've had one OT game on the men's side and one on the women's side so far. Or one OT game on the men's side came earlier. A dramatic win for the Buffalo Bulls on the women's side in the final seconds as well. This one looking like it's going to get to that point. For now, Miami will inbound at Kraft. Wide open, far corner three. He's got it. Bullseye for Cam. 14 points for Kraft, and Miami leads it 63-60. Sullinger will hold it up top. He's been so good for Kent State in this game. 26 points off, 6 for 11 from deep. Comes off a screen from right to left. Hands off to Medley, and now back for Sullinger on the far flank. Jabbing away with 6, with 5. Pulls up, and a foul called against Pete Suter right as he crossed the three-point line. And Miami's bench erupts as Suter picks up his third. That'll send Jalen Sullinger to the free throw line. He's been there 3 times tonight. 4 for 5 from the stripe, by far the best of the shoddy free throw shooters for the Golden Flashes, but he'll miss the first one off the back rim. Miami crowd starting to make noise behind the Red Hawk bench. Sullinger got the second one. 63-61 Red Hawks, 2:56 to go, second half. If you're just joining us, neither team is led by more than 6. It has stayed within a shot throughout almost the entirety of the second half. Elmer on the near side has it for the Red Hawks, leading by 2, under 3 minutes to go. He'll sling it up top for Pete Suter. Cuts right, catches contact, blocking foul called. Put the shoulder into the chest of Marquise Barnett, and it is Barnett that picks up the foul. And that is the 7th team foul against Kent State, and that'll put Pete Suter on the free throw line. 1-and-1 shots here for Pete. He's had some back issues that really hurt his free throw shooting yesterday. On the season, though, traditionally a good foul shooter at 77%. He missed 3 foul shots yesterday, but he's got the first one. That makes it a 3-point ball game. Suter leading Miami scorers with 22. The transfer from Bellarmine and first team All-MAC selection. Airs out the second free throw and puts it down the net. 65-61 Miami. It has been a while since we've seen a 2-possession lead, and Travis Steele, who we rarely see interacting with fans, has turned around and he's hyping this crowd up as his team tries to get a stop. 4-point Miami lead, 2:30 to go. Medley leaves it off up top for Von Cameron Davis, and now edge of the logo, it's Sullinger. Heading left with 11 on the timer, throws his head back, floats it up down the left alley, won't go. Rebound and a putback, stuck off the right side of the rim by Gillespie, but he was fouled, and he'll get 2 shots at the free throw line after Ian Elmer is whistled for his third. Del Rocco Gillespie has been a monster on the glass tonight. 11 rebounds, 6 of them on the offensive glass. Of the total 10 offensive boards that the Golden Flashes have in the game. Kent State with 11 second chance points, but the woes from the free throw line continue as Gillespie pushed it long. Kent State will make a sub. Marquise Barnett off. Jamal Sumlin on for Rob Senderoff. 2:15 remaining. Kent State with 3 timeouts. Miami with 2. Second free throw up and in for Del Rocco Gillespie. He's got 7 points, 65-62. The Red Hawks in front with 2:08 to go. Ipsaro speeds to the edge of the paint. He'll whip it back outside. Miami resets it at the logo. Suter between the legs on the dribble. Surveys, finds Kraft on the far side. He'll hand back off for Suter at the edge of the MAC trim. 8 seconds to go on the clock. Suter lobs it over the top for Potter on the far block. He will 360 and toss one up a little long on the shot. Rebound to Kent State. Sullinger pushing up the near side. Sullinger races, pulls up from the edge of the paint and scores. Jalen Sullinger has made tough shot after tough shot tonight, and that is not stopping. He's got 29, and it's a 1-point Miami lead as Evan Ipsaro takes it across the timeline, and a timeout is called by Miami. It is a 30-second timeout. They've got 1 full timeout remaining. And with a minute 32 to go. Travis Steele will draw something up for his club, leading by 1. Jalen Sullinger on the brink of his 4th 30-point game this year. The senior from Columbus, who averages 15 a game, has nearly doubled that tonight. But that hasn't slowed Miami's defense down from holding the Golden Flashes under 70 for the moment. Can Miami now make some tough shots down the stretch to try to pull this game out? Every game between these teams has been close in the final minutes. Miami pulled away on the road in the first meeting at the Mack Center. RedHawks at home at Millett Hall on national television on CBS Sports Network. Inside Millett Hall, forced overtime with some tough shots down the stretch, coming back from down 7 in the final 2:40 to win that game. Now they lead it by 1 here in the MAC tournament. Pissarro catches the inbound, cross-court Kraft, far corner 3, online for Cam Kraft. 17 for Cam, and it's a 4-point Miami lead with a minute 20 to go. Sullinger races down the left alley, stops his feet at the elbow. He'll push it back outside. Sumlin backs into the paint, thought about the fadeaway. He'll give it back outside before his feet come back down. Sullinger jabbing on Suter, gets to the free throw line, pulls up and rattles it off the back iron. Kraft has got the rebound, collision inside as Sumlin came down on top of Pissarro, but those two to their feet, and Pissarro will take it across the timeline on the right wing. 50 seconds to go in the MAC semifinal. Winner of the championship tomorrow night against Akron, 68-64, the Miami lead. Elmer out near half court with 10 to shoot, hands for Suter. Suter directing traffic. Travis Steele says, let's go. Suter trapped, bullet inside for Potter, tried to thread between the double team, and he's fouled. What a find by Pete Suter, whose heels were on the half-court line, and he zipped it all the way to the baseline. A laser to Reese Potter, who burst through the double team and drew the foul, and he will get, I believe, 2 shots here at the line.
There's that awareness from Suter again, like we've talked about in this game and in yesterday's game. He just knows where everyone is on the court. He knows where the ball needs to be, and Miami looks like 2 more shots here. It's gonna increase their chances here just in a second.
4-point lead, timeout Kent State, 68-64 RedHawks. Rob Senderoff uses his full timeout, wants to talk over the next couple of possessions. Kent State still got 2 30s left to use. 34.8 seconds left. 68-64, the Miami lead, trying to win their 4th in a row against Kent State. And win their 3rd this season. The RedHawks lead by 4, and Reese Potter, who is a 61% free throw shooter, will go to the line. He's got some funky form. He can shoot it from 3. For a big man, doesn't get to the free throw line a ton, just 36 attempts to date on the season. But Potter will be tasked with trying to put in the free throws. If he can make them both, it would tie the largest lead of the game for either team at 6. That is just indicative of how this one has gone for this RedHawks team. The foundation has been laid for this RedHawks group to do something special this year, and they'll try to close it out and punch their ticket to the MAC title game. Reese Potter on the free throw line. 34.8 seconds to go. 2 shots for the 7'1" sophomore from Lexington, Kentucky. Potter's first in the air. It goes. 69-64 Miami. Second free throw upcoming for the RedHawk big man. Antoine Woolfolk has had to sit for the last few minutes with 4 fouls. Potter with only 1, and he goes 2 for 2 at the line. And would you believe it, with a 6-point lead for the RedHawks, that ties the largest by either team all game. Kent State's got to go here. 30 seconds remaining. Up the baseline goes Medley. Kick out Davis. Open 3 from the corner. Left it short. Got his own rebound. Running out of real estate. Gets it to the outside. 3 from up top is pushed long by Barnett, and the RedHawks have the rebound. 17 seconds to go. Golden Flashes have to foul. Miami gets the ball to Evan Pissarro, and he gets the tap. Foul called with 15.8 seconds to go, and the RedHawks will have a chance to put the game to bed leading by 6 here in Cleveland with just under 16 ticks remaining.
I wonder what Travis Steele said in that last timeout, because they haven't played like this all half. They haven't played like this all game, and here we are now 6 points up.
Ipsara's first free throw is perfect. 7-point lead, the largest of the game for Miami. It has been so close today, but the RedHawks are just seconds away from pulling this one out. Fans have begun to hit the exits. Second free throw made by Evan Ipsara. Rob Senderoff's not going to take a timeout as Kent State nearly gives it away on the inbound. Sullinger will spin it away. He will shovel it to the far side. 3 up and no good from Barnett. Kent State will not foul as Evan Ipsara grabs the rebound. And for the first time in 18 years, Miami is headed back to the Mid-American Conference Championship game. It has taken 2 gutsy efforts in 2 days for this RedHawks team, but they just will not let this magical season come to an end yet as Miami wins their 25th game of the season, and the RedHawks are back to the MAC championship game for the first time under Travis Steele and for the first time since they won it all back in 2007. Well, sometimes, Kethan, in March, it gets ugly, and you got to figure it out. For this RedHawks team, they could not stop fouling in the first half. They missed a lot of shots in the first half hour of this game, but when it came down to it, Cam Kraft with another brilliant night from 3. He scores 17 off 5 for 9 from beyond the arc. Pete Suter with a huge rebound type of night after he had the near triple-double yesterday, but really struggled to shoot the ball. Today, a double-double again for Pete. 23 points and 11 boards for the man from Carmel, Indiana. And the RedHawks pick up a huge win over a traditional MAC powerhouse in Kent State, who falls short of the MAC title game for the first time in 3 seasons.
That's right. You look at that score, it's an 8-point difference. That was not an 8-point game at any point until that last minute. That was even going into the final 60 seconds, clearly. And it's a good win. Miami still needs to tune up a couple things going into tomorrow's matchup against one of the best teams in the country and clearly a dominant team in the MAC.
Certainly the Akron Zips have been phenomenal here at the MAC tournament as they have dispatched rather easily of their first 2 opponents. Took care of Bowling Green in round 1 and beat Toledo earlier today. It is an Akron team that is averaging 98 points a game here in Cleveland in the MAC tournament, and that will be the RedHawks opponent tomorrow. Travis Steele said it the week after Miami suffered their ugliest loss of the year. They gave up 100 to Akron way back on January 25th in a 102-75 loss. He said, we want to meet those Zips again in the MAC title game. And now, a couple months later, Miami has the chance to do just that. The RedHawks are out for revenge against the Akron Zips tomorrow night, and we'll be on the air with you for it. 7 o'clock pregame and 7:30 tip-off between the RedHawks and the Zips. The top 2 seeds in the MAC tournament will play for the title. Miami wins it tonight, and that'll wrap things up for us on the night here from Cleveland. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll shoot it back down south to Oxford, where Bryan Miller will have your RedHawk Radio postgame show, recap what we just witnessed in what is sure to be a RedHawk classic, a game that will be remembered for a long time as Miami punches their ticket. Bryan will also look ahead to an even bigger game waiting on the horizon tomorrow. All that after the break on the RedHawk Radio postgame. So for Kethan, Babu, Andrew Relvis, rest of our RedHawk Radio team, my name is Luke West Poley saying so long on the night from Cleveland, but good news, we'll talk to you tomorrow. The RedHawks are moving on to the MAC championship game. Final score in the semifinals is Miami 72 and Kent State 64. Make sure to tune in tomorrow night, and thanks for tuning in tonight to this presentation of Miami basketball on RedHawk Radio.
Red Hawk fans, you could exhale, you could relax, you could finally breathe as you usually would in a game that really just showcases everything that we love about this month and about this sport and about this team and the roller coaster ride that we all go through when watching college basketball, especially this time of the year. The Miami RedHawks will be going to the MAC championship for the first time since 2007 after a 72-64 win over Kent State in the semifinals. I gotta say, I know it was an 8-point win for Miami, but it never ever felt like that until maybe the very end. That was just the game that back and forth, the classic tournament game that you really expect to see this type of year. I mean, you expect it going into it, but you're still, I'm sure, as many of you feel, just as I did, just incredibly stressed out going through the roller coaster ride that was that game. For Miami today, your leading scorer was Pete Suter, 3 points, 8 for 14 from the field, 3 for 6 from three, 4 for 4 from the free throw line. Also got 11 rebounds as well. So another double-double for Pete Suter in back-to-back games, although different types. This time it was the traditional points and rebounds double-double, not the rebounds and assists double-double that he had yesterday against Eastern Michigan. But I'd argue the star of the show, especially in the second half, was Cam Kraft after not scoring in the first half at all for Miami. He had 17, 6 for 12 from the field, 5 for 9 from three, had 3 rebounds as well. Some big time shots for the Xavier transfer. And I mean, as I mentioned in the pregame show, that's why you bring him in. It's for big time games like this, and big time moments, big time players. That's how the saying goes. Cam Kraft exemplified that in a big time performance that helped give Miami the win today. For Kent State, the star of the show, Jalen Sullinger, what a game for him. 29 points on the day, 9 for 20 from the field, 6 for 11 on 3-point attempts, 5 for 7 on free throws on the day as well. And for Kent State, that free throw line today is going to be an ugly look, especially looking back in the next few months as this season ends for the Golden Flashes. They were 11 for 21 from the free throw line today, and a team that's usually really, really solid from the free throw line came into tonight's game second in the MAC in free throw percentage, just under 76%, but today 52%, and that stat will really stand out in today's game that was otherwise really, really evenly played. Vaughn Cameron Davis, 10 points as well for the Flashes, 5 boards. Barnett, 11 points and 6 rebounds as well. Del Recco Gillespie leading the Flashes with 12 rebounds in tonight's game. He had 7 points to go along with that as well. Some other showcase players for the Redhawks today. Ian Elmer, 10 points today, 8 rebounds. Really, really stepped up in that department for Miami today. And Reese Potter, 6 points, 3 boards in that game where he really had to come in and make his presence felt as Antoine Woolfolk had 4 fouls towards the middle, towards the back end of the second half in tonight's game. For Miami, up next will be a rematch with the Akron Zips, who had an absolutely dominant year, especially in MAC play. They're going to come into tomorrow night's game with a 27-6 overall record, a 17-1 record in MAC play. That was to the Ohio Bobcats, an 84-67 loss at OU on February 22nd. And since that game, they have ripped off 6 straight wins to get them to the MAC championship tomorrow. And it has really been led by their offense. The quarterfinal game against Bowling Green, a 96-67 win. And Toledo earlier tonight on a 100-90 win. So, two really, really high scoring affairs, averaging 98 points in the MAC tournament. That's pretty good, especially for a 1 seed type of performance that you would really expect. Akron averages 84.4 points per game and are 5th in the country in assists per game, just under 18 and a half and 12th in the country in points per game, as I mentioned, a little over 84 points per game. Last time these two teams played, it was a drumming from the Zips. That was early on in the conference season on January 25th, a 102 to 75 win for Miami in a game that was really dominated by the Zips from beginning to end. They especially dominated in the rebounding department. The Zips getting 41 boards on the day, Miami only 24. And that showed off early, gave a lot of second chance attempts, especially for three for Akron. They were able to capitalize on that. Star player to look out for the Zips, Nate Johnson, the MAC Player of the Year, will come in averaging just over 13 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists on the year, and also shooting 43% from the field coming in to tomorrow night's game. That tip-off will be at 7:40 Eastern tomorrow. So we'll start at about around 7:10 tomorrow in the MAC championship game. It will be the RedHawks and the Zips, and what should be an absolute classic, the biggest game in program history since 2007. You will not want to miss that. I will be back tomorrow night for your pregame, halftime, and postgame coverage, and it'll be Luke and Kethan once again from Cleveland, leading you through to the MAC championship game. Should be an absolute barn burner tomorrow between the RedHawks and the Zips. Miami with revenge on their mind tomorrow, looking to make history and get over the bump in Travis Steele's third season. Well, RedHawk fans, we'll see you tomorrow night here on Red Hawk Radio. Thank you so much for joining our coverage tonight, and we hope to see you tomorrow.